Okay, the next step is to divide our dataset into training and validation and to get our dataset clean. So let's get some help from our CSV files that we had in the previous tutorial. So make sure that they are in the root directory. If you don't have them, go to the GitHub of this tutorial and download them from there. Okay, so let's start by importing these two files. So training clean or training clean, and this is going to be using JSON. We are going to use loads, and we are going to open our file training.csv in read mode, and we are going to read it into a dictionary. So if you just print this variable, you'll see that is a dictionary, and cool. So we have to do the same for validation. Just copy the line and replace training by validation. Okay. Now that we have that and we have our clean images, it's time to start a loop. So let's first initializing our training examples, and let's initialize it to 0, and also our validation examples to 0. We want to keep track on the number of training and validation examples that we are going to get. So let's start our loop as promised, and let's loop into the cell variable. If you don't remember, the cell is just the names of the celebrities. So Ben, Arnold, Adele, Adam, and Andy. So what can we do with that? We want to join it with the absolute path to go into the individual images. Okay, so let's take that and let's use a list here into the absolute path of Pat itself and our celebrity. Good. Now we want also to take the valid images for this specific celebrity, and we can do it by going into our dictionary that we imported here, and we can get the celebrity name. Let's do the same for validation. Oops, not that one. And here, validation clean. Here, let's call it something like val. Okay. So now that we have that, we want to increment our variables that are keeping track on the number of the examples. So training examples here, and we are going to increment it by the len of train L, right? So the valid training examples for this specific celebrity. Let's do the same for validation. As always, they are twins. So val L, and here we're going to take validation. Okay. Now, next step is to create two directories. So if we open our root project, we can see that our full dataset has these nice folders for each of the celebrities. But if we see our training and our validation, we have nothing here. We don't want to copy paste like the good pictures of Adam into the training itself, right? We have to create folders for Adam, Adele, and Andy. Okay, so we're going to do it programmatically with just 2 lines of code. So let's do that. Let's just make some virs with our OS library, and it's going to be joining our training path and the name of the celebrity. Okay, let's do the same for the validation. We just have to replace your training by validation, and that's everything. We should create an if statement not to duplicate our efforts. So let's do some OS path is there, and we can just copy paste here, and we're going to check if this folder exists. If the folder doesn't exist, we're going to create it, right? So same here. Let's do the same. If not, it's path here, and let's just entire path, paste it here. Okay, good. You can even run it and see where are our errors, because we're missing a column here, but generally that's fine. So we are also missing a join here, so ospath.join, and that's everything. So if we go to our folders, you can see that now we have the folders empty, but still we have the folders, right? Run it again, we don't run in any error. That's why we have the if statements here. So now that we have that, we're going to loop into our valid training. So train B, train L, sorry. And we have the individual images here. So let's actually start by joining the absolute path and the celebrity and the training. So the full path to the individual images. So we can say something like image in singular, and we can something like opening this image, or even image path. That's a bit better, not to confuse in the future. So we need to have a try and accept here, because the next step is to open each image and verify them, see if everything is good inside that image. We're just doing that by like a learning exercise, because I already cleaned the dataset, so probably they are already fine, but let's do it like this. Is very important on data science, like to clean your dataset. So let's make sure that we have the proper images. So let's start by opening the image, and we're going to use the pil library. So I already imported, but we have to use from pil import image. And since we are here, let's already import the shoutil and the copy file. Okay? So let's have these two imports, and let's start to open some images. So let's do image.open. This is the same as the CV2 here when we were reading the image. And we want to open our image here, the image path. The next thing is to verify it. That's why we have the try and accept. We're trying to verify it. If it fails, we're going to print something like it failed. And we can pass like the celebrity name and training. It's up to you. It's just like an information, nothing else. So now that we have that, that should be enough. But let's go one step further and actually make sure that this is the perfect image. So the next thing is to get the size. So let's do ospath.get size from our image path. And we want to see if it's bigger than 100 bits. And we also want to see if it ends with JPG, right? So again, we did this check here, but this is more like a learning exercise, so let's just bear with it. And finally, we want to see if the image mode is RGB. So we want the 3 channels. We don't want anything else, other weird formats with some alphas or something that is not RGB. So let's compare that with RGB, and if finally everything is fine, we want to copy our file from our current location that is already in image path to our destination location that is going to be the same, but basically in the new training path. Okay, so training path, it's capitalized, training path, and here we're going to join it with a celebrity name, and finally the individual image name. That's cool. So the next thing is to copy it for validation, and training and validation, they're twins. So what do you do to one, you have to do to the other one. So let's just change a couple of things here. Instead of train, we want to say val, and We want to change here. It's no longer t is v. We change the variable. We are opening it. We are checking a lot of things, but this is v now instead of t, and we are just copying it to v. I guess that's everything. So let's try it out. Seems it worked. Let's check our folders. So we have our training folder, and inside we have the folders that the script created. So Adele, Adam Sandler, and all the other celebrities. And let's check inside. It looks way better, right? So you can see that, okay, my homework was not properly done. There's still some bad images here, but I promise it's way better than it was. Okay, so if you want to go one step further, just go directly here, and this has to be manual, so just go picture by picture and delete the ones that are not from the celebrities on the folder name. Okay guys, so we have a couple of typos here still. I didn't notice at the time, but we should replace this T by V, of course, and the training path for the validation path. Otherwise, we are creating a lot of duplicates here, okay? So let's fix that, and actually that's pretty easy to solve. So let's go to our root path, and in our training, let's delete everything. In our validation, let's also delete everything, and let's run the script again. So this time I promise everything is fine. We can go there and see that our validation already has some images. The same for our training. We have some images now. Okay, so thank you for the patience. And the next tutorial we are going to see a way to drop our images from our directories into our model. So stay tuned.